we talk about getting a meeting, we suggest several things you can do. Write a letter, get a referral, use a direct value statement. Then there is the inevitable time you will come into contact with your prospect. You don't get a lot of chances these days, so every conversation, email, and live interaction counts. Together, they make up your credibility, essentially whether or not the client will do business with you. In addition to those things you can do, we suggest that aligning with the personal style of your client is an equally important success factor. In order to do this, I'm going to introduce you to the 4 behavioral styles we use at Knoll. You may have seen this matrix with 4 styles under different names. You will easily be able to tell which is which if you have been through the test. This is not new. In fact, Personal Styles was a book written over 30 years ago by Roger Merrill. The rules still apply. What hasn't changed is that not all people act the same, nor do they like to be treated the same. We suggest you abide by the rule. Treat others as they want to be treated, as opposed to the more commonly known golden rule, treat others as you would want to be treated. That is great on the playground, but if you like things one way and your client likes them another, you'll be better off adapting a bit to their way over the long term. I will introduce each style and the key behavioral characteristics, noting ways you can determine any person's most likely style. You will see that some of the characteristics are verbal, some are nonverbal. Personal style has to do with how a person expresses themselves and how they react to others, under regular circumstances and under stress. We suggest you practice evaluating a person's style from your first interaction, or even your first knowledge about them. You may be able to get some clues from others who work with them. You'll see what I mean. First, let's take a look at drivers. Drivers like to take charge quickly. They will control most situations. Drivers like challenges. They're very focused on results. They say what they mean, but they can be abrupt. You know where you stand with drivers. This can create tension. They're not at all emotional at work. Don't expect crying or soft talking from drivers. They also live in the present, very much in the now. They can't stand inaction. Let's look at expressives. In contrast, expressives are a lot of fun. They create excitement. They love to share ideas. They love banter and humor and lots of stories. They're the social type. They want to involve others in their lives. Expressives have little concern for routine, and they live in the future. They're impulsive. Okay, let's look at amiables. You will recognize this style in many buyers. They're calm, pleasant, and approachable. They tend to coach and counsel others. They provide support. They absorb tension, and they work in an unhurried manner. They need to relate personally, and they avoid conflict. That's why oftentimes you'll find amiables going under. The 4th and final work style is also common with media buyers. It's the analytical style. Analyticals like to focus on facts. They like to ask for more research. They act on a clear payoff because they like measurable results. They don't commit too quickly, so don't rush them. They mostly work alone, as they will resist group projects. Analyticals are generally very organized, and if they're not, they know where everything in their office is. They put in a minimum for relationship effort. It's less important to them to hear about your weekend than it is to hear about proof of performance of your work. Because they like a historical time frame, they will always look back at a reference point. A little bit of caution, they do their homework so they don't make mistakes. Once they do make a decision, they will stand by it 100%. If you cannot figure out where you are, figure out on the top or the bottom of the chart, or the right or the left, and narrow it to half. Then figure out who you have the toughest time with personally or in business, and what do you avoid. What do these people have in common? If you can identify that, you're probably the opposite. The further afield you are, the more versatility you will need to adapt. It is worth noting that a high percentage of us, salespeople, were drivers and expressives. So if you thought you would just choose clients like you are out of luck. A high percentage of buyers are analyticals and amiables. You probably have more in common with your peers at the office than you do with the majority of buyers. Adapting to your customer style does not in any way diminish who you are. It just allows your customer to remain in their comfort zone, and it increases the likelihood that they will do business with you. I mentioned that there are some verbal clues and some nonverbals. Sometimes you can tell a person's style by looking at their office. There are some dead giveaways. Notice the cubes and offices around you. How are they different than the research people's cubes? or offices in other part of the building. I'm going to show you a few pictures of offices I've been in recently. See what you notice and try to guess the style of the person who works there. Here's the first one. What do you notice? Pictures, pictures, pictures on a bulletin board, posters, a calendar, personal paraphernalia overflowing off of the wall. This person wants you to know about them, their life. Otherwise, they wouldn't share it. You guessed it, expressive. While expressive talk fast, love to tell stories, and generally keep the conversation going, they also are trying silently to communicate by their display around them. How about this office? 17 plaques, trophies, 2 diplomas, and a few photographs. It's very organized. Is he also an expressive? No, he's a driver. He wants to show off his accomplishments. Remember, drivers are task-oriented. They can have fun too, but only after the work is done. By the way, no style is inherently good or bad. We believe that understanding what they are is good, so you not only have positive interactions with those like you, but so you can easily adapt to those who are a little bit different. I have a few more. What about this office? A bit different? What do you notice? It's a comfortable chair, soft light, snacks, a plant. This person has put some effort into making this office comfortable. What style do you think? Amiable. A comfortable, inviting environment is a sign of an amiable. They want you to feel welcome in their space. Remember, they are often the coaches and mentors. They're good listeners. They do not like conflict, so be aware. If you upset an amiable, it is likely they will disappear on you, for good. Finally, here's an example of the office of, you guessed it, an analytical. You can see the organized files behind, the stack of work to do in front of him. It is tiny and minimalist, tidy and minimalist. You may not even know it's a personal office. The personal office is inhabited because analyticals like things put away, for the most part. There are no personal photos or artifacts, just the basics for work. Leave personal belongings at home. Understanding these styles is the key to success in business and personal relationships. I encourage you to really indulge in the exploration of your own style, that of your peers, and of course, your clients. What is your style? Note the people around you and in your life. If you struggle with someone, consider the possibility that they are not evil. They're just a different style. You can get more information on dealing with each style in our tips section for Get a Meeting.